All right. Give us just a moment. Welcome. Welcome, my children. I am happy that each of you are here today. This is a glorious day, and we are glad to be here to speak with you. We wish to talk more about the concept of duality. Many of you have been asking questions of these two bodies in front of you as things are changing in space and time and energies are shifting, wanting to know more and more about what is coming and what has happened and where we are and why and on and on. We wish to share our view of the situation on your planet. We first wish to let you know and remind you that we have never mentioned that your planet as a whole is evolving. We have never said that your planet is dividing or splitting. We are aware that other beings have channeled this and other folks have said this, but that is not what we see. What we have said is that the evolution is individual, that you playing in the game of life will continue evolving to a point where you are no longer caught on the levels where you have been and where you will be able to see from a different perspective. We've mentioned many times about stepping over that low wall and being more of an observer to your experience than to be in the middle of it and letting it throw you left and right and up and down. 4, we wish for you to think about duality. Up, down, left, right, good, bad. Duality is like a battery. You have a positive and negative charge. We too have said this before. We wish for you to think of it that way. Two sides of the same coin, the yin and the yang, the white in the black in the white. They go together. They are not separate, and they will not as long as you are in duality, in your avatar, in your physical form. You will remain in duality, in that either or, that black and white, that up and down. We say this to let you know that duality must maintain balance at all times. So in duality, much like the battery that I mentioned, it has a positive and negative end to it. If it only had a positive and positive end, it would not function in your duality. It may function in another world, but not where you live. If it had a negative and negative poles, it would not function on your planet. Also, if one end was larger, if the positive end was really large and the negative end was really small, there would not be balance and it also would not function. Duality maintains a homeostasis. Duality maintains a balance of the light and the dark, the yin and the yang. Remember that inside the yin and yang, there is light in the dark and dark in the light. There is balance. That balance is duality. This is where you live. This is what your planet is experiencing. And your planet chose to experience this level of duality. Yet, the hope that we have and other beings have as well, the hope that you have is that you will awaken to the concept that this is the game, that you will awaken to the concept that although you are in the game, you do not have to be of the game, that you can move up the levels, that you can actually be more than just duality, that you can release your attachment to the material, that you can release your attachment to the duality, and you can move to a space where you can stay peaceful. inside the game, where you can be more of an observer of the game, where you can play in the game as a master of the game, where you are not thrown left and right, to and fro. You are not taken out of your core, of your center, of your peace, when the duality on the screen of the movie is playing out. This is what we know for each of you. You each have the ability and the possibility of moving to that space, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Yet you will still be on this plane of duality. It just will not be the same. You will feel more peace in the chaos. You will feel more calm regardless of what is taking place on your planet. As more and more of you who are watching this and watching other channels, as more and more of you continue to, in essence, not participate the same way in the game, step back over the low wall. As more of you do that, less play the game. As more of you wake up, less get thrown to and fro. As more of you wake up, less fall prey to the illusion. We wish for each of you to wake up to the illusion that is your world. So the illusion stays, yet weakens as you more and more step away. You are not playing the game. You are watching the game. There is a different perception, and I know it is difficult when you are having struggles. I know it is difficult when things are not going the way you wish they would. I know it is difficult when you are having challenges at your workplace or with your family or with your politics. We are aware of your politics that have happened recently. We know that it is difficult when you are still in the game to be not of the game. When you are still physically involved in the movie on the screen. It feels so real to you inside. It feels so emotional. We know that this is happening for you in your lives with your illnesses, your family, your friends. We know that your media is showing you this to get you to stay stuck in the game. They wish to have you rivals and compete to stay in the game. We are challenging you to step aside, to watch the game play, but not participate at that level. Move above that level of struggle. Move above that level of competition. Move above that level of the us versus them. Move above that level and you will see from a different perspective the game. You will see what is playing out. You will see the illusion on the screen for what it is. We are not saying that this is an easy thing to do. We are saying this is part of waking up. This is part of you being aware of yourself, being aware of those around you cannot see, and being aware of your own energies and staying sovereign in the game. As you do this, you evolve. As you do this, you change. Your life changes. The way you interact with others change. They no longer can get you riled up. They no longer can get you hooked in. They no longer can get you in an argument because you have taken a breath. You have done the Anukri heart breath. You have stepped back and observed and not jumped in. There is a time and place where you must still participate in the 3D world. We understand this as well. There's a time and place. You must participate in your job. You must participate with your family. You must participate with your health. You must participate in your politics. You must participate in your nourishment. We know that this is still there. But when your mind is different, when your mind and your perspective and your view of the game, the view of the illusion has shifted, you no longer are hooked in. You no longer are triggered. You no longer are controlled by the game. Take control of yourself. Do not worry about another, for as you do this for yourself, the ripples go out, and those around you will ask, what are you doing that's different? Why is this not bothering you? How are you staying calm in this situation? Just know that that is fine. You breathe the Anukri heart breath. You breathe and center yourself. You breathe and know that you are a sovereign being inside the game. So you are not escaping at this moment. You are not leaving at this moment. You are just changing your perspective. You are changing your viewpoint. You are rising above and seeing it as though it was a dream that you are in. You are lucid dreaming your life. Yet if you fall low and you go down and you find yourself in the battles of the day-to-day, arguing and fighting and upset and all of these things, if you are there and in the game, which is fine if you choose to do this, but then it is hard to remember the dream. It's hard to remember the lucid dreaming aspect. We wish for you to know that this is possible. Many of you have seen this when you are in that space, when you are calm and centered and chaos is happening around you. When you are calm and centered, you know that you have the ability to create the reality that happens next in your life. Yet it is not an easy place to stay. The game keeps pulling you down. It wishes for you to be an active participant. It gives you many, many reasons to go and fight. Yet we ask you to breathe and be at peace. To suit up and show up, to do what you need to do. Yet to not be influenced by your society. To not be influenced by what you hear or you see in your media, to not be influenced by those around you, but to be at peace, to be sovereign in yourself, to breathe and know who you are, to step back over the low wall and not participate in the chaos and craziness you see in front of you. To not participate in the emotional drain that you see in front of you. To not participate to that degree in the duality. So you are still in the duality, but you are not embracing the duality. You are watching it on the movie screen play out. Find the peace within. Do the breathing. Find the calm. Whatever brings you to that space, whether it is music or meditation or family or your pets, whatever you find that brings you to that space, utilize that. Bring that in. For you to stay calm in the eye of the storm, for you to stay calm and centered, not thrown to and fro in duality. Find that awakened space within yourself. Find that awakened space within yourself, and you will find the peace you seek.
Yes, we are aware of your nation's popularity contest that has recently been held. We understand that this creates concern for many. It should not. It simply is what we stated, a popularity contest. As you remain centered in yourself, in your own divinity, You will continue to see more and more clearly the pathways that you are to follow, the bypasses which you are to take, which remove you from the stress and strain and turmoil of what you call as 3D. 3D, yes, will still exist, but you are on the path to leveling up in the video game of life. And just as in a video game, when you move from one level to another, the scenery changes, the players may even change, and you no longer interact with those in the lower level below you, though up and down and below and above have no judgmental meaning here. But as you are now moving on your own path, you will still observe those. You can still see those that are struggling and striving and fighting and bickering and all the things that take place. But you will find an easier path, a path of peace, a path of flow. And this flow and this peace will exist for you regardless of what is happening around you. For you are the eye of the storm. You are not just in the eye of the storm, you are the eye of the storm around which all else swirls. Allow the swirling, allow the destruction and the reconstruction and the deconstruction, all of which will continue over and over again to flow around you. And you keep your focus. You keep your focus on source. We do not ask and never will ask that you stand in resistance to anything. As a matter of fact, it is your resistance that creates the predominance of pain which you experience, your resistance to what is. What we will ask of you, though, is that you be at peace, that you do not fight, that you surrender to the flow of source, that you let your little mind, your small mind, your monkey mind have its opinions and have its gyrations, but do not follow it. Let it simply do what it does. You focus on source, knowing that there is a plan which you do not fully see or fully understand playing out around you. Yes, the entire planet at this time is suffering through changes. Some of it is changes in magnetism. Some of it is changes in climate. Some of it is simply changes in human desires that waft across the planet. These are all going to be occurring. They have always been occurring. And it is those of you who have the ability and the courage and the wisdom to adapt to what is as it is, without fear, without stress, without struggle, that will move through this time and other times smoothly, freely, joyously. For this is who you are. You as source, you as spirit know no stress. You as source, you as spirit know no fear, for those simply are not real. Just as this game in which we are playing is only a game, it is only an illusion, so are your concerns within the game. We think, we believe, we feel, these are the words you use. And they are good words, but maintain your focus on source. Worry not about the game, for the game is only a game, and the game will continue on until the game ends. And the game will continue on once this body you are in ends and you return in yet another body. But it will be a different level of the game and a different point in the game, and all of this will play out. For you, we say again, as we have said many, many times over the eons, focus on source, focus on peace, surrender your will to the higher will, and all is well. It always has been. It always will be. Fear not, for you are more than this game. Fear not, for you are home.
Please understand that we wish for each of you to find this peace we discuss. We wish for each of you to find joy in your life. We wish for each of you to be filled with gratitude all of the time. Yet we know that the external forces do play on you, and the external forces do push against you, and they want you to participate and to get into the nitty-gritty. We understand how this works. We see what takes place in each of your lives. We see what takes place in the human condition. And we wish the best for each of you. We wish for you to touch source, to see and remember who you really are. For that is it. You are source. And we also know that in this game you feel very, very real. If you were to cut your hand, you would feel the pain. You would see the blood. If you were to break a leg, you would feel the pain. You would see the cast, the injury. If you are going to work at a place you do not like, you will feel the frustration or the anger. We understand that when things around you are not perfect, which they will never be, for that is not how the game functions, it is hard to stay centered. It is hard to find that joy and that peace when the chaos is happening. We do not tell you to ignore the emotions that arise. We just ask you to allow them to flow through and not hang on to them. Allow them to move through your body, through your energy fields. Allow the emotions to flow, not to identify with them. We suggest that you find time in your day to meditate or be quiet or walk in nature or connect with music or whatever brings you that level of peace and joy that you so long for. Because when you have found that, when you have connected with what brings you joy, you know that when the chaos happens or when you jump in and participate, it is only temporary. All things here on your planet in duality are temporary. Temporary. They come and they go. They will not stay. It may feel like forever at the moment, but it is not. When you get this, you can go, this struggle, this thought, this emotion is temporary, and allow it to move through quicker. Allow it to shift faster so that it does not impact your entire day, let alone your week, your life, your year, your life. Do not let the temporary become your identity. Do not allow the temporary to become your obsessive thoughts. We have spoken before about radical acceptance. That does not mean you do not need to do things in your societies. It does not mean you do not need to work to improve things for yourself and your neighbors. This is not what that means. But it means that when something happens, be that emotional, physical, relationship, health, or politics, that there comes a point where you understand you have no control at this moment. Perhaps earlier you did, you could have eaten better, acted better, communicated better, whatever, but at this moment, this is where you are. This is where your little world is around you, and this is what you must accept unconditionally. But you do this by finding peace first inside yourself. And when you find that place of calm and that place of peace, you watch all that you worried about drift away. You watch all that you stressed about move on, for it no longer finds a home in your vehicle. Your mindset is so very important in this concept. Your mindset must focus on what you are grateful for. Focus on the love and the light in your life. Focus on your connection to Source and those around you in non-physical form. To focus on the things you have control over rather than the things you wish you could change, but instead just stress out this avatar. Many of you are wearing out your avatars long before they were intended to go away, because you have put so much pressure and stress on yourself. This is not what we wish for you. We wish for you to move outside of that, to level up, to move outside of that struggle and stress, holding a mindset of positivity, holding a mental image of beauty and love, compassion, holding that space, breathing, connecting, meditating, listening to music, the birds, the flowers, the nature, whatever it is that brings you that joy and peace. That is what we wish for you. Do what must be done. Can take care of what you must do. Yet find it with peace in your heart. Do these things with compassion in your soul and your being. Not with hatred, not with dread, not with frustration. Allow those emotions to arise as need be, but allow them to pass through. Do not hold on and identify. Breathe. Get centered. Live your life from this space, and you will find, as we have said before, that you will enter the flow of the universe, and more of this will make sense to you. You will enter the flow of the universe and find the ease that is there. Breathe. Stay centered. Find your peace. And when you get distracted or thrown out, find that space again as quickly as you can. Come back to that homeostasis that is within. And your life will flow so beautifully. Those things that are meant for you will come to you easily. Yet, the answer is not out there. The answer is here, inside the being that you are, the source being that resides inside your avatar, the source being that resides inside your body. It is who you really are. Remember who you really are. And the illusion will fall away. Thank you.
Your planet has gone through many, many permutations of life and extinction and life and extinction, and it continues this process even now. You put so much value on your avatar and on material forms of this game, so much value, and yet there is none there. For the value is you. The value is source. The value of your planet, of your life, is simply the experience. There is no value in your coin. There is no value in a belief system. There is no value in any material thing other than the value that the game has assigned it. You are beyond all this. In moving beyond, in surrendering your ego to the will of Source, what you find is the things that the game values will be thrown at you. They will fall at your feet. It is up to you what you wish to do with that when it arrives. For it will not matter. It will simply be monopoly money in the game. Its only value is in the game. We encourage you, go within, find yourself, anchor yourself to Source, rest in the peace of knowing that all is well. Rest in the peace of knowing that you are Source and that all the frenetic activity, all the vibratory patterns and urgencies of this place are just within a game. They are not real. They are not urgent. There is no urgency. For you as a material form will rise and you will fall. You will be born and you will die. These are just the patterns of duality. These are just the patterns of the game. But they are a game and they affect you not. They only affect the forms. Rise above. Remember you are Source. Surrender your ego's will to Source. Trust that beyond the game, all remains as it always has been. Beyond the game, you are as you have ever been, whole, complete, filled with light, and eternal. When you can keep your focus here, then you can take actions within the game that are aligned with that which brings you the most peace, the most abundance, and the most joy. That is all the purpose of awakening is one, to remove yourself from the stress and struggle of the game, and two, to give you the tools through which to manipulate the game in ways which provide peace. For there is nothing else you need seek. There is nothing else that this game can give you that will actually give you the peace of Source, for that is not the purpose of the game. Remember who you are, children. Remember who you are. Release the rest and release all resistance to what is. And so it is.
And so it is.